Welcome to the Northern Outcast Outdoors podcast, The Outcast. Powered by A&F Custom Calls, Veteran Innovative Products.
I was wondering if it was going to happen. Usually any number that's not saved in my phone, it just hangs up on them.
Yeah. So everybody, welcome to, this is going to be either episode 3 or 4, depending. We're on the second half of a doubleheader here, and we got Chucky's good friend here, Matt Talkington, on the line from West Virginia. What's up, man?
Oh, not much. Just sitting here hanging out at the house with the dogs, wife, and kids that are moms. So I was just sitting here waiting on you guys to call.
Appreciate you taking our call, man. Honestly, I mean,
Oh, yeah, no problem.
I'm looking forward to it. I know I talked to you prior, and I was like, dude, we got to get you on a podcast. And it was way back when, and I'm like,
yeah,
thinking through. I'm thinking, kind of listening. Braden and I were talking. We're like, man, who can we get on? And I said, well, I know a guy. I'll reach out to him, and sure enough,
Yeah.
I mean, you accepted, and I'm pumped because, dude, you had one hell of a 2020. Let's just put it that way. Like, a lot of people didn't have a great 2020. You fucking killed it, man.
Yeah, I've been pretty lucky these last couple of years. I been pretty lucky.
I mean, that deer that you shot in Ohio, I mean, Chucky told me about you, and I was kind of doing a little creeping on the socials there, and I was like, dude, this guy shot a donkey in Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was, I had pictures of a few. I just moved over to Ohio this past August, and my dad, he bought a house in 65 acres, and my dad travels a lot, so me and the wife and the kid moved in to the house, and man, I had a bunch of pictures of bucks below the house, and they all kind of disappeared. And I bought that, where I killed that buck, I bought this 15 acres. I had bought it in March, and I had done nothing over there until, I don't know, like 3 weeks before gun season in Ohio came in. And I put out some corn and put a camera up, and lo and behold, there he was. And I was like, oh, okay.
So you've had eyes on that deer for months prior to the actual kill then?
No, about 3 weeks before.
Before gun season, you said. Okay. When does rifle come in Ohio? It's about the same time as us.
First week of December. Yeah, that Monday.
Just about, yeah.
Yep.
So did you do any archery hunting prior to that in Ohio, or you were just kind of...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I bow hunt, and I gun hunt, muzzleloader hunt. I'm not one to just bow hunt or gun hunt. I'm not one of them. If there's a season and I can use it, I'm hunting.
Hell yeah. So did you hunt Ohio prior to moving to Ohio, or was that just a product of you moving?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I was born in West Virginia, in New Martinsville, and then kind of my dad's he's an electrical engineer. He kind of bounced around a little bit when I was a kid, and then getting older. But I had hunted Ohio a few times and killed a couple bucks over there. When I got out of the Army in 2013, I actually moved back to New Martinsville and was living with my grandparents. And once I moved back, there's quite a bit of public land right here in Ohio where I live now, which is only 15 minutes from where I lived in West Virginia. And I started ground pounding the public land.
You're Southern Ohio, right, Matt?
No, I'm right. Well, I'm just 2 hours from PA. But yeah, I'm in Monroe County, Southern Ohio.
Okay.
South.
Pretty mountainous, pretty intense kind of terrain, right?
Yeah, I'm right on the Ohio River, and everything is steep.
Yeah, I know. I go down and we didn't go, I don't think last year, but the prior years we hunt Salt Fork State Park, and there are parts of that park that are really, really hilly. I mean, some real steep stuff, and then there's some other parts you get in like a little creek bottom and some swampy areas that are kind of nicer, a little bit flatter, and of course, that's where everybody wants to hunt because there's ag fields and some other stuff that looks really pretty, but. That part of Ohio, I mean, it's been known for giants for years. It's hard hunting. It's really tough hunting. Same thing with West Virginia.
That's for sure. Yeah, there's not much ag or anything like that around here. It's steep and it's rocky, and if you're just hunting acorn flats and points and stuff like that, or Ohio's a bait state, so we can do that. So, but yeah, there's not the corn and soybeans and everything like that around here.
I mean, that's usually what most people would think of if you say you're hunting Ohio. When you're starting to
Yeah,
get into those like Midwestern states, like you're hunting, over a cornfield, you're hunting in a little
yeah,
patch, between farms and stuff like that. I mean, I don't think
yep.
people realize that Southern Ohio actually has.
You get an Ohio River area?
Oh
Dude,
yeah, it's wicked.
It's
I can
wicked.
see, yeah, I can see the river from my house. I live up on top of a ridge, and I can see the river from my house.
That's
No shit.
badass.
No
Yeah,
shit. That is
yep.
pretty cool. That's tough hunting, man. I mean, I guess we can dive deep into it, kind of where your success comes from and how you've hunted these areas growing up. Even if you want to just talk even, about the West Virginia kind of stuff that you used to hunt. And
Yeah, I grew up hunting West Virginia. More than anything, back when I was young, it was basically I hunted the first week of West Virginia gun season, and that was really about it. That was what I looked forward to, all year. Did some squirrel hunting here and there, but that first week of gun season, man, that was where it was at for me. We just, with me being little and dad working and playing sports, really didn't have a whole lot of time. But
I mean, I think it's
yeah,
the
that
same
first
for a
week of
lot of
gun season
people
was
around here
yeah,
with rifle season. That's kind of, everybody, that was what we did. I mean, the first day of rifle, I mean, you ask people from different states, like, when you say you get the Monday after Thanksgiving off, people kind of look at you like sideways, like, well, why? Like,
yeah,
it's because it's the first day of rifle, dude. It's a holiday. That's a
yeah.
big
That's
deal.
right.
You
Yeah,
know?
in West Virginia here now, the kids they get it off. I know when I was a kid, dad just got me out of school all week
Yeah,
because
I mean,
I
we
was
always
actually
had it
living up
off.
in PA. I was living up in Greensburg.
Oh, you're
That's
not
pretty
far
much
from us. It's about an hour and a half south of where we're at right now.
yeah. That's where I lived. I lived there longer than I've lived anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, everybody had that day off from school. I mean, in PA, but you talk to people from like New York or something. They're like, you get that day off. You're like, dude, that's a holiday.
it was literally a
Yeah.
holiday. Companies
Oh
closed
yeah.
down, businesses, give the people a legitimately holiday. I mean, I remember
Yeah.
I went to a arts college, and we had professors that gave that day. Like, listen, just get your work done, go hunt. We get it. Like,
Yeah, go stack bodies.
yeah, we're in New
Yeah.
Wilmington, Pennsylvania, the heart of Amish country. Like,
Yeah.
they get it. Sorry to catch my breath there. I was
Had to
trying to
relight
get
relight the heater.
I was trying to get the heat back on, man. I noticed we turned it down, and then I looked around behind me, and the light went out, and I'm like, oh shit! It's just straight running propane into us
Yeah, I
right
don't
now.
know if you heard that. Whoom.
Everybody passing out in there.
Yeah, so I had to get that back up and running
was
out here
feeling
in
nice for a
the
second there.
garage. So I missed what you guys were kind of talking about a little bit, and I guess we probably even skipped introducing you as well, didn't we? So I guess if you want to just jump back and kind of tell everybody like 10,000 foot view of, how you got into hunting and where you started and that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I'm Matt Talkington, 30 years old, and I live in Ohio now, but I grew up hunting in West Virginia. Um, my family's hunted forever. My my grandma, my dad's mom, her father, he checked in one of the first deer ever checked in the state of West Virginia when they had a season back in the day, and then um, my uncle Bill, well, he's my great uncle. He's my dad's um, brother. He's owned a gun shop there in New Martinsville for like 40 some years. And back in the day, that's where everybody went, before gun season, week of gun season. Family hunting in my family is just, I mean, it's been there forever.
Oh yeah.
Um, grew up going with hell. My dad got me out in the woods when I was 2 years old. He'd shoot a deer and he'd come get me to track it. And I, grew up going out with my uncle and my dad, and I loved it. I couldn't get enough of it, and I still can't get enough of it. But having having a wife and a kid now, I've had to tone it back a little bit. But
Yeah, that's the line you got to walk. I mean, me and Chucky kind of had a very similar upbringing as far as that's concerned. Ryan and Jeff, our other two members, kind of were getting into it a little later than us, but like we totally understand like that. Rifle season tradition of getting out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you get the little one too, so you bringing him along a lot too.
Oh yeah, it's nice where we live now. I feed the deer here below the house, and that little 10-acre piece my dad has, and that little 15-acre piece that I bought, it's only like 10 minutes away. So,
That's
through the
awesome.
summer and early fall when it's warm, I take my son's name's Trip. I take him with me to, dump corn or minerals, or just go check cams, or go put up my blinds and stuff. This whole, he lives for it now. Like, I got these cell phone cameras, and when my phone goes off, especially like early in the fall, not so much now, but since it's slacked off, but early fall, my phone would go off, and Buck, he's well on his way.
Can't ask for much more than that, honestly.
No, that's cool to instill in him what you grew up with. I mean, I know, like Braden said, man, we grew up with this stuff. I could not imagine my life and where it would be not growing up in the outdoors, always hunting, just the discipline it gives you, the patience, and all the different attributes you gain as a hunter, let alone just meeting the greatest people on this planet. 99% of hunters and outdoorsmen, and 100% of the true hunters and outdoorsmen are literally the best people you will ever meet in your life. I mean, we have you on right now for that exact reason. You ran into my podcast and we started chatting and became, pretty good friends. We talk quite often. I'm always seeing what you got going on Facebook and commenting, and, and it started even in turkey season, like back and forth, like we're sending each other's pictures, and dude, it like that would never happen in anything else on this planet other than hunting, in my opinion.
No. The only, I was lucky enough to be in the military, and being in the military.
I screwed up. I said nothing. Well, I'll give you that. Yes, you're 100% factual there.
I was, not a lot of people do it, but other than, I mean, and I see it, being able to, be a hunter and be a fisherman, just an outdoorsman, period. But and being in the military, they both go hand in hand when it comes to people. Well, men, women, whatever. They're majority of the people are just great people, and you can count on them for just about anything.
I mean, it's kind of an unspoken camaraderie. It's like if you run into someone at the bar that, has a Marine Corps tattoo, you never met this dude before in your life, but you go talk to him, chances are you're probably going to end up getting obliterated drunk with that dude that night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. You go in and someone has like, a Hoyt shirt on, or, a Matthews hat, and you're like, oh, bro, do you shoot? And then, you go down that rabbit hole. I mean, the same with fishing. I mean, we were in Clarion a couple weeks ago. Kid had on a freaking Tackle Warehouse hat, and next thing I know, we're exchanging YouTube channels. Like, he's a big fisher. That's what's cool about it. Like, for me, it's like there's more genuine people when they're really into it, than other things.
Yeah. I didn't experience the military, but I mean, I have enough respect and knowledge in it to know that that's definitely another brotherhood that is relatable, like you said, to hunting, and we greatly appreciate your service, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
And shout out to you. I love to see dudes that do it, and I give them the utmost respect, because you've earned it.
A lot more balls than I did.
Yep, you've earned it, man.
I just don't think I had anything else going on in life.
Hey, man, you know what though? There's nothing wrong with that too, though. I mean, if you really don't got a plan and you need an honest out, that is a very honorable
at the time,
thing.
I was like, man. But I'd do it all over again. I mean, it really set me straight.
Hell, and some people do need that. I mean, I've heard that from quite a few many people that said the same thing.
I've seen it. I've seen it in guys that have turned their lives around because of it. And I know good personal friends that have done so. They were always that kind of goofball or slack off in high school, and they joined the military, and they come back like some really straight good dudes, like some, I don't know. I mean, from what I know and I've experienced through other people, it molds you into a better person.
Yeah, take me for
Oh
instance. I was a
yeah,
goofball in high school, and now I'm sitting on a podcast with Chucky.
man. I didn't have I didn't have sports to play when I was in college, and man, I just didn't go. I'd rather went deer hunting.
Hell yeah.
That's what I was doing in college.
That's why I played baseball. It's a spring sport, although it did get in the
Yeah,
way with trout fishing and turkey hunting growing up for sure,
yeah,
but never interfere with deer hunting.
yeah. That's true.
And that's what I was biggest into, anyways, when I was younger. I'm big into deer hunting, but I'm glad I got into turkey, man. Turkey is just unreal. And
Nothing
speaking
like it.
of, so you had, I don't know if anyone had a better year turkey hunting than you did that I know personally.
Seems like everybody had a better year than we did, Chuck.
No,
I mean, truthfully,
I had
you
a
had a
great
pretty
year.
good.
I had
You
the
shot that one in the snow the weekend. I was getting
yeah,
obliterated.
I had the best turkey year of my life. I haven't been doing it very long, seriously,
Yeah.
as you know we have now in the last few years. But man, Matt, dude, you got to talk about your turkey season. Run us through it a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't too shabby. It was a little bit tougher than. And I don't say that to sound cocky or nothing, but I've been pretty lucky to kill quite a few birds here these last few years, getting having the places I have to hunt and the time that I have to do it. But yeah, I started off. I was supposed to go to Nebraska last year for the second year, and I had to cancel it due to COVID. And then
Yeah.
year before, I had to cancel because my son was born. So
At least that's
hoping
a
to
good
make it this
reason.
year. Yeah, that was yeah, I was cool with that. COVID,
Yeah.
that was. But no, I started it off in West Virginia, and me and my some guys I work with been watching some birds, and one of the guys I work with, we put up a ground blind the day before season come in, and um, got down there the first morning, and man, there was a bird gobbling. I don't know, he probably wasn't 150 yards away. We
Oh
got
man.
lucky, but we had the decoys out, and man, he pitched out right into the right of way, and I mean,
Oh
just a
man.
few, I gave him a few tree yelps, with a slate call, and that was really all it took. I called to him a few times out in the right of way just to see him gobble because he was out there in a clover right of way, and he come into the decoy, and he was coming in, and me and my buddy we were figuring out who was going to shoot him, and I had that new Stevens 410 with TSS, and I was like,
Oh
man,
man,
I
everybody
really
has
want to,
those now.
I really want to see what this thing can do, and I ended up shooting him at like 6 yards, and
That's
just
six
buckled him.
yards.
Huh?
That's incredible. 6 yards with a 410.
Oh man, it smoked him. We were sitting in that ground blind, and I think we had three hens out and a strutter and a jake, which that's very rare for me. I usually don't ever have decoys just because of how I hunt. I don't like to carry them.
Yeah, up
Knowing them
until
birds was in there,
I mean, the guy that taught
made
me
it
how to
nice.
turkey hunt, he swore against decoys for ever, and I was
Yep,
kind of the same way.
yep. I usually very 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 rarely will I have decoys, but with that being out in that, we knew we were going to hunt that right away, so
Oh
we
yeah, if
wanted
you're hunting a
something.
field for sure.
Yeah, but so I killed him, and then the second day I was out and I was driving around on a piece of that I got permission to hunt, and I seen some birds crossed in front of me, crossing the road. I drove up the road. They went down over the right of way. I drove up and parked, and it was two longbeards by themselves at like 10 o'clock. So I let them cross, ran down over the hill, ran down over the right of way. I drove up the road, parked, got all my stuff. I just threw a mouth call in. I had that 410. I walked down over the hill, snuck up the edge of the woods, got to the corner, and them birds was down over the hill out of sight. And I called just a couple times, and they come up over the hill.
No
That's
kidding.
why I said I got lucky in West Virginia. Usually not that easy, but now Ohio and PA, they let me know that I got them two easy ones.
They brought you back down to earth.
Oh yeah, because it took me till the second to last day of season in Ohio. I think the second or third to last day of season in Ohio before I killed the bird here. Man, it was just a totally different turkey season because of, with COVID and people were off, and
Oh yeah.
places that I hunt public that you don't usually see people. That, I mean, there was like people camping there this past spring, and
Yep.
it was like, holy cow, man! I mean, you couldn't go anywhere without seeing people.
That's
Yeah.
been the
But
one constant between everybody that I've talked to and myself
yeah,
personally. Is this last year was just so much traffic. It's insane. I've never seen it like that.
yeah, I when I went to PA, it was the first year I've ever turkey hunted on public. This year was this past spring, and I seen people in Ohio, but I've never seen the people. I went to PA opening
Yeah.
day. I was like, you have got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, I don't even know. I don't even know what to compare it to, honestly. Maybe
It,
like,
dude, it
because
was like rifle season in the '90s up there. Like
yeah,
it was insane.
I never in my life, I had my buddy Caleb with me, and we had I had some pins that I had set on Onyx, like a pile of pins, like 30 some pins, like on points and fields and this and that here and there. And I had a place that I wanted to get to, first morning, and I couldn't make it up there the night before. So I told Caleb, we're going to leave early. We're going to get up there. Enough time. We can walk in. This point looks good. It's long. There's a narrow ridge running to it. I said, there's got to be at least one bird. And, man, we started down in there on that road, public on both sides. And it was like, I don't know, 4:30 in the morning. And there was trucks everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
Yep.
dude, we should have got here at midnight.
Yeah.
So, and I just kept driving and driving and driving. And it started getting daylight, and there was still trucks were everywhere.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I was dumbfounded by it. Ended up running into a game warden driving down the road, and he's like, "Hey, what you guys doing?" Da da da. And I was like, "Oh, just out here trying to find a place, no people." And he said, "Man, there's a longbeard I just passed just on up the road, or on behind me." He said he's out on a new right of way. He said he's just up there strutting, gobbling on by himself. I said, really? He said, yeah. He said, you're going to go down the road. He said, you'll see some group of pine trees on the hill. He said, that next right away. He said, he'll be up there up top. I was like, all right. Sure enough, drove on out there, and there he was, just full strut, all by himself. And I was like, and there was no cars around.
No
I was
kidding.
like, dude, this is money. Because on out past him, we drove on out past him, didn't want to get out of the car at the bottom of the right of way where he could see you.
Right, booger them up.
I say that because of what's about to come up. Drive on out the road, park, walk up the point to him. We're like 50 yards away from him in the woods. And my buddy Caleb's like, dude, there's two guys coming up behind us. They followed us up the hill. And I was like,
Oh
are you
my
shitting me?
god.
I turn around, and sure enough, there's two guys coming up the hill. I'm like, dude, we're like, it's damn near dangerous. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, at this
I
point
said,
now,
man,
that's no bueno.
yeah, I said, we're going to have to shoot this bird. I can see him, but I can't shoot him. I got my 12 gauge, so I could have made that shot, but I wasn't shooting through the brush. I wasn't going to wound a turkey. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out what we're going to do because we got these guys coming. I'm like, man, they're going to, we need to get this, we need to shoot this turkey, but I don't really want to call to him yet. Well, then, man, it wasn't probably 30 seconds later. This dude just starts ripping at him from the road, from the bottom of the right of way, just ripping at this turkey. And that turkey looked down the hill and just walked away. So I walk out to
Calling
the
from
right
the
of way.
bottom of the hill.
Yeah, just
Wow.
plain as day could seem. And Caleb's like, wow. And I was like, yep. So we walked back down to the truck, and I made sure I drove over to that guy, and I rolled down my window. He said, man, did you guys see that turkey? I said, yeah, bud. I said, I was about 50 yards inside the woods getting ready to kill him. He said, man, you think me calling to him spooked him?
Oh my.
I said, nah, bud. No, not at all. It just drove off.
Yeah, did you keep thinking that, pal?
Oh, my God.
Unbelievable.
Dude. And that was probably 8 o'clock. And we drove around for a couple more hours. We stopped at a couple more places. One place we stopped at had a drilling rig right there by it, so we couldn't hear nothing. Called in a couple other places. We were just finding spots where there was no cars. but it was tough. And
Oh no,
We lose them.
we lost him as soon as you touched it.
I didn't touch
You
anything.
touched it. We lost.
I was getting a feedback in my ears. Sorry, we'll pull him back up.
Oh, there he is. We lost you as soon as Chuck started touching buttons on the podcast
oh
deck.
yeah, I was wondering.
I didn't
We're gonna
touch
blame
shit.
him. He was wiggling wires and they're.
I am.
I got full service.
I got the little feedback in my
I
ear
got
because of
5G right now.
my headphones. I'm like trying to push in the thing. I don't know what happened.
That's funny. It was literally as soon as he touched it, it hung up.
That was weird.
Way to go.
That's my bad. I don't even remember where we left off now.
So he was on an oil rig.
Oh,
didn't
yeah,
hear
yeah.
Nothing,
Sorry.
drilling rig.
Yeah. Okay. Is that where we left off?
Yep.
Something like that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. We had, like I said, we stopped a couple places. One place we stopped, that had a drilling rig on it, so we couldn't hear nothing. And we drove around, called a couple other places, just trying to find places where there was no cars. Because at this time it's like 9:30, 10 o'clock, and I had 2 more pins on a small piece of public, smaller than what we had been driving around. And I told Caleb, so we might as well go there. So it's closer, it's towards the house anyway. I said, but if there's people there, we're just going to go home because there ain't nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
And we get down in there, and there's nobody at the parking lot. I was like, oh, they've either killed them or nobody's, or they didn't hear nothing, or nobody just been here. So we get out, and we're at the bottom, and everything we can hunt's up on both sides. So we walk out, and I made a few calls, didn't hear nothing, and I told Caleb, I said, we'll just sit here until, you can hunt until noon in PA.
Yep.
I think it was, because
Yep.
it was like 10:30 when we got there. And we had probably been sitting there, because it was right before 11 o'clock is when I heard them. We were sitting there, and I'd made a few calls. We're just sitting there. Well, my buddy Caleb, he's deaf. Like, he can't hear nothing. And
Sounds like
we're
Jeff.
sitting there, and man, I heard a bird gobble up the hill behind us. I said, Caleb. And I had just picked some hen in the woods mushrooms. And
we were just talking about that.
Yeah, we were just talking about mushrooms. That's
I
awesome.
picked it, and probably 45 seconds later, pow, and I was like, it was a good little ways up that hill. And I said, Caleb, did you hear that? Hear what? I said, you didn't hear that bird? He said, no. And I was like, let's see if he gobbled again. Pow. I said, did you hear him? No, I didn't hear him. He'll tell you. He'll tell you he's deaf. But so I called, and he answered. Well, I didn't. I told Caleb, I said, I won't call no more. I said, as far down as we are, them birds ain't coming. You know what I mean? As steep as that hill was, I'm one of them people. Some people be like, oh, they'll come downhill. Yes, they will, but not very often.
No, that's kind of a
him answering
Turkey
me.
101.
Yeah, him answering me let me know that they were, you know what I mean? I called to answer. I said, cool.
He's interested.
Yeah, especially midday like that.
Yeah.
That's when you want them firing up.
Yeah.
If you're going to get them to come downhill, that's probably when it's going to happen, if at all.
Yeah.
Because that's when they do some stupid shit.
Yeah. So I told Caleb, I said, he answered. But they were so far up that hill, they were probably 300 yards up that hill.
Yeah, that's a ways.
And I'd never been there. I said, dude, we're going to have to get right to left of them. We're going to have to. I said, let's go. and my buddy Caleb, he's a big boy. He's probably 6'2", probably 280 pounds. And I said, we got to go, bud. I said, we got to go now because we don't have much time.
Yeah.
So we start hauling up this hill, and I'm crow calling. I'll go, 20, 30 yards crow call. Okay, 20, 30. I want to make sure that they're not coming down, and I want to get in line with them. But I also want to make sure they're not coming down to me. So I'm crow calling, gobbling, crow calling, gobbling. Well, we get in line with them, and we're both about to die because I'm not in the best of shape. And that hill was steep. We get up there, and I start calling to them, and they're answering. I'm calling, they're answering. Well, I shut up on them. And where we ended up, man, there wasn't very many big trees. And like I said, my he's a big dude, and I'm 5'10", like 250. I ain't no small guy either. So I'm sitting on this tree that's like about as wide as just as wide as the inside of my back, where my spine is. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, dude, we stick out like sore thumbs in here, bro. Just looking around, and I'm calling. Man, they were gobbling, and I shut up. I'm scratching leaves, I'm trying to get these birds to come in. And we're running out of time, because by this time it's after 11 o'clock, and I don't know, and they're gobbling and they're getting closer, but they're not coming fast enough.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
he's like, man, he said, I don't know, and then like I don't know how long we've been up there, but he said, man, I just seen a turkey going over the hill, about 100 yards out. Turkey just went down over the hill. I was like, well, that's weird. Them birds, they ended up being two longbeards. Them birds are still up there in front of us gobbling. Well, I was like, I had never gobbled, like tried to gobble with my mouth with a mouth gobble, and I don't want to,
It can be
I'd never
interesting.
done it, and you're not, it's not probably not the smartest thing to do on public, but there were
No.
no cars in the parking lot. And I was like, you know what, dude, I'm ripping on these birds, man. I am cutting and yelping and just ripping on them as hard as I can. Just trying to get as excited, trying to get them as fired up as possible. And I'm like, screw it. I just start gobbling, as best as I can with my mouth. And dude, it was 5 minutes, and boom, they show up. But they were 80 yards above us. What we didn't know, never being there was a freaking logging road up there, and they walked that logging road all the way out
They
to
love
us.
those roads,
That
man.
will do it.
Yeah, because they had shut up. Once I gobbled to them, they gobbled a couple of times, and then wham, there they were. And my buddy Caleb was to my right, down over the hill just a little bit, and I said, "Shit!" I said, "They came high," and we stuck out like sore thumbs up in there. They started looking around, and them wings tucked, and that one turned, and I don't know, there's probably 60 yards up in there, and I shoot TSS. That's the new thing to do.
Yeah,
That's
But
what I hear.
yeah. They are great loads. I'm
gonna tell you
a
what,
little too expensive for me, but
I was
410's
the guy that was
manageable.
like, you guys are stupid for spending that. I'll never spend it. Dumb, dumb, dumb. But yes, I shot 4 birds with it last year. Not a one of them flopped.
Oh no, if you got the money to throw down on it, and you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I mean, I have a little stockpile of what I shoot, so I'm kind of stuck
yeah,
in my ways. But I've not heard anything bad to
yeah.
make
never.
me say
They
I would never do it. But
they're nice, but they came high, and man, they tucked and went. Started head beat bobbing out through there, and I shot, and I knew I missed, but I jumped up. Put my gun on safety, took off running up through there just to make sure. I walked out the hill. Just if I shoot at something, I'm making the best effort I can to either find it or figure out if I hit it.
oh, for sure.
Well, I figured out, I didn't hit that bird, nothing. So I'm all mopey, walking back down to my buddy, and Caleb's like, "Hey man," he said, "why didn't you shoot that bird that was standing there about 20 yards away from you and you ran up over the hill?" And I was like, "What?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Man, you took off running." He said, "That bird you shot at took off." He said, "But that other one just ran up the hill and stopped and watched you."
Oh
I was
my.
like, "You gotta be shitting me." He said, "I could have killed it." He said, "But I wasn't shooting past you."
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Shit. Well, we're talking just like we're talking on the phone, and I had unloaded my shotgun. Um, Took my gloves off, took my face mask off. He's unloaded his, and because it's like, dude, I'm shitting you. It's probably like 12:40, 12:43, and or
Yeah.
11:43, and we start walking down over the hill, and a hen starts yelping down the bottom of the hill. And Caleb said, "Why don't you shut her up?" I just threw my mouth call back in and cut to her and yelped to her real hard. And dude, like 60 yards down over the hill, a freaking bird gobbles.
Oh my.
And I was like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "Hurry up and sit down." So I'm like trying to throw my gloves on, throw my face mask on, and I'm I'm yelping as loud as I can because I got a semi-auto and I got push that button, and I'm yelping as loud as I can to get my gun loaded,
Oh
and so
man.
he can get his gun loaded.
Uh-huh.
We hurry up and sit down, and seconds later, this bird pops up the flat below us. Well, then he gets behind a tree. Well, I can't see him, and I'm like, I know Caleb can see this bird. Please shoot him. Well, he comes out from behind that tree, and as soon as he comes out from behind that tree, I just put the red dot on the head, and I pull the trigger. Boom. Well, this bird's wings just go out like he's flying away. Disappears down over the hill. Well, I'm thinking I missed again. I'm like, I said a few choice words.
Now you're
Caleb's
extremely pissed.
Yeah. Oh, I'm pissed.
You went from mopey to pissed.
Yeah, I'm beyond pissed. Yeah, 2 birds. Yeah, I'm livid. And Caleb's like, Bub, I don't think you missed that bird. And I said, dude, I'm telling you, I missed that damn turkey. He said, I'm telling you, I don't think you did. Walked down over the hill, and man, where I shot that bird, his wings just literally went out, and he just fell dead.
Okay.
And he didn't flop or nothing. But yeah, that was something. Caleb, I said, man, I hugged Caleb, and Caleb, he's also does taxidermy work for me. He knows how much I love to turkey hunt, and I bought my license and told him I was going. He said, man, you care if I buy mine? I'll go with you. I said, no. I said, let's do it. And I said, man, why didn't you shoot that bird? He said, dude, I know how much you wanted to kill that turkey. He said, I know. He said, I just know how much more it meant to you. He said, I really didn't care if I killed a turkey. He said, I just wanted to come.
That's awesome.
That is really cool.
He said, I had the dot on that turkey's head for, I said, man, I was waiting for you to kill. I said, you should have killed that dang thing. He said, I wanted you to shoot that turkey. He said, I knew it meant more to you than it would to me. And man, I hugged him. And because most of the time for me, when I'm hunting, it's all by myself. I kill a turkey, I kill a deer, it's all by myself. So,
yeah,
getting to do it with him and, and hug him, and, it was awesome. And I really appreciated him, not shooting that bird. But I would have been just as happy as if he would have killed it.
that's what it's all
that
about.
was a hell of
man.
a day.
Hell yeah, especially whenever you get your ass beat like that, and then you finally get one like the
last minutes.
Oh yeah, dude. When you get your butt kicked for a few days, and then you redeem.
Ohio had been nailing me until we went up there to PA and got to kill that bird, and then Ohio continued to beat on me for a little while.
Oh man.
Yeah, because Ohio comes in just before PA, typically. I think a week before, something like that. And in West Virginia's the same.
Ohio and West Virginia usually comes in the same day, but
That's
this coming spring, West Virginia comes in. Well, I think it's on the 19th.
19th or 20th. I think it's the Monday, the 20th, right?
No,
19th.
Monday is the 19th.
19th, yep.
Yeah, and then Ohio comes in on the 24th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it comes in, but I'll be in Nebraska the 23rd, 24th, 25th this year. So, but I'm hopefully get me a bird or two in West Virginia before I go out there and then be able to hunt Ohio when I get back. But
yeah, that's huge. I didn't know that was the 24th because it's always been the same day, West Virginia and Ohio.
Yeah, well, I know a couple years ago, maybe a year or two after I got out of the Army, it was like that. West Virginia came in first and Ohio came in second.
Yeah. I've only been hunting turkeys there, 3 years now. I believe I started hunting Ohio, and then last year did West Virginia and didn't do Ohio because they cut off their tags.
Yeah, I was
livid
pretty happy about it, I ain't gonna lie. But.
Yeah, I was pretty ticked off. I'm like, dude,
I know. I think I was the one that sent you the message right when it came out.
Yeah, you were. I sent it right to my buddy, and we were going to go, and we had it all planned out. And we're like, well, shit, now what do we do? We're like, well, West Virginia comes in the same day. Let's just do West Virginia. And it worked out in our favor, but still kind of sucked.
Yeah, we couldn't buy an Ohio fishing license, and then we got screwed out of going to Idaho, too, this year.
Yeah,
this last year.
I mean, the worst part is, dude, Matt, we're like 15 minutes from Ohio, really.
Yeah.
I mean, we're right here. We can easily jump over. And not having Sunday hunting in Pennsylvania for turkey, for anything, but especially for turkey, it's so easy to just head across the line and, try to hunt on some public. But West Virginia's not too bad either. It's not too shabby. I don't know. I mean, it's cheaper. I might just do
Yeah.
West Virginia route from here on out instead of Ohio.
Yeah,
I mean, if I'm not
it's
going to hunt
definitely.
deer in Ohio, there's really no reason to get a turkey tag there.
And especially since
Yeah,
Ohio jacked up their out-of-state prices. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
like
the crazy
massively
part.
jacked it up.
it's still going too.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing.
I'm glad I moved over here.
I was going to say, you got room in that basement or something? We might have to
Yeah,
steal
I'm
some
glad I
residency.
moved.
Yeah, you want to
I
adopt
was,
me? You can claim me on your taxes.
yeah, I was lucky enough that Dad bought my lifetime license for West Virginia, so you moving over here, I don't have to buy my license over there. And then right before we moved, I went ahead and bought trips, so he'll be good too.
That's
So
awesome.
Good call.
makes it nice that they offer that.
Yeah, that's a good
So,
call. Well, cool, man. Yeah, so Ohio then. You got your butt
yeah,
kicked a little bit in PA. You were already getting your ass kicked in Ohio, and then
I continued to get the old booty kicked over here in Ohio, man. It was I this past spring was the first year I hadn't killed a bird on public in quite a few years. I the bird the day I killed the bird here in Ohio, I had hunted on public and I heard one bird and that was it. I came home and the wife knows, I love to deer hunt. I love it, but turkey hunting. I mean, I love turkey hunting.
Yeah,
So when I
buddy.
came home, I told the wife, I said, well, I said, that's it. I had to go back to work the next day, and I was going to be working for 7/12, so I wouldn't have enough time to get
Ooh.
out. I said, well, that's it. My goal was to kill a bird, West Virginia, Ohio, and PA. I said, I got 2 out of the 3, whatever, kind of moping around. And I was standing outside, and I took my stuff off, and I let out a couple yelps there below the house. Didn't hear nothing. And what did I can't. Oh, I got up to Woodhaven Crystal, and man, I ripped on it. A bird crossed the street in front of the house, property I don't have permission to hunt, gobbled. And he gobbled like 3 or 4 times. I said, that bird's a long ways away. But in Ohio, the last 2 weeks you can hunt all day. I said, I'm gonna stick a freaking decoy in the yard. I said, just by some chance. So I'm gonna stick a decoy in the yard. And I went in the house. Or no, I told the wife I was going to, and I didn't. I went in the house, and I was sitting on the freaking recliner watching TV, and I was like, man, I really should go put a decoy in the freaking yard. So I walked back outside and grabbed that decoy. Well, I had my mouth call, and I ripped on that mouth call, and a freaking bird called below the house, like a flat below my house. I said, holy shit. So I come sprinting inside. I'm like, the wife, I'm like, birds just called below the house. I gotta hurry up. I gotta hurry up. Getting my clothes on. Like half my stuff's in my truck, some's in the garage, some's in the house. So I hadn't brought everything in yet. So I'm like scrambling to get everything on and freaking get everything on. Go sprinting down the driveway. I called. He gobbles again. Well, there's a point directly below my house. It goes, straight down. He was just on the other side of it. I'm like, oh shit. Well, I'm running up. I get down to the mailbox, cut down into the woods, and I start coming to him. I call and he gobbles, and he was just, I don't know, he wasn't 50 yards away. He was just right around the edge of that point. And I just sat down and threw the gun up, and he came around that point, and I just flattened him. And it was, I was like,
No
I couldn't
kidding.
freaking believe it.
That's
It was,
unbelievable.
yeah, I know. It was, oh man, it was awesome. The wife heard the shot through the kitchen window, and it was, yeah, it was something.
That's awesome that you have
So I
property that
got
you
my
can do
high
that on
bird.
too.
yeah.
Man, it was pretty gnarly. I was happy with it. It was something.
Speaking of wives coming through the kitchen, we just got intruded
Hmm.
on. No, that's great, man. So I mean, that was kind of the end of your season. You got the
Yeah,
tri-state,
yeah,
freaking.
that was it for me, and I ended up getting plaques for all my beard or the mount or the freaking beard, the mounts, the tail feathers, the
Hmm.
fan, and I had them all done up, in the garage, and had them sitting on cardboard. And, hey, it wasn't a couple weeks later. I went on midnights. Came home the next morning. The garage door was open. I was like, what the hell? Well, wife left the garage door open, and the freaking possums, coons got me in the freaking
my
garage and just
God.
tore my turkey fans to
Oh
shit.
my God.
Except for
Wow.
one, the West Virginia one. I was like, the PA one. So thank goodness, because that was my first bird in PA. But they shredded all the other ones.
Oh
There
my
was
God.
freaking turkey feathers all over the yard and the driveway. So of course I went in the house and was like, "You left the garage door open. My turkey fans are ruined."
I would have been buying a night vision scope that moment right there.
Oh man, yeah, because
Overnight that baby. It's time for a jihad.
I had got plaques and I wanted all the fans.
Uh,
You know, I got a West Virginia plaque, a PA, and Ohio, and I wanted them all together. But oh hell, they're just turkey fans. I'll get more.
I guess you're going to have to fill them up now this spring, huh?
Yeah, and I can't wait. God,
Man.
I can't wait.
That's a bummer. I actually had a couple Jake fans in mind that I was going to do up, and my buddy shot a Jake, and he didn't want the fan, so I was going to do it up for a decoy. And a
Mm-hmm.
damn mouse got in mine and ate all the meat off it, so all the feathers, of course, fell
Yep.
apart.
you
I'm
know
like,
what
you
you
gotta
could
be
do is
freaking kidding me.
get a piece
Super
of
glue 'em.
saran wrap and Bondo and put
Yeah.
the saran wrap underneath it, Bondo on top, and then push it over with the other side of the saran wrap. And then
Yep.
it's like, I mean, that shit dries like almost immediately. Then you're good to go right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way.
I still have my PA one still in my garage, but I kind of like hung it up so where they can't get to it.
Yeah. The nice thing about the Bondo is, too, you don't have to let it sit with salt on it for, you know, 3 years.
Yeah.
I'll have to learn that trick from you.
It's easy. It's
If
easy.
you're ever looking for some turkey fan mounts too, Booer here, his pop's got a little custom gig going.
Yeah, we got a little operation. Yeah, we do turkey
Oh, yeah?
tails and all kind of European mounts for deer, anything you think
Oh,
of.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Shameless plug.
you're welcome. But yeah, that's cool, man. Four turkeys in a year in 3 different states. Pretty badass. That's,
Yeah, it was.
I'm envious, especially since I didn't even get one in PA
Right.
last year, and the out-of-staters doing me up.
Yeah, I don't even know. I've killed 20 some birds the last few years.
That's impressive. For
That's
spring turkey, that's
yeah.
very impressive.
Yeah.
Man, I love to hunt, and most of my PTO is for turkey season. I don't take much time off that deer hunt, especially now that I got the wife and the kid. I did take a few days this year for Ohio gun season. Then hell, the wife got COVID. Jesus, that was a mess. But yeah, most of my time, I mean, it's turkey hunting. You know, and I'm a very aggressive turkey hunter. I probably spook more birds than I kill. But
It's more fun to hunt them that way, dude.
It is, and the proof's in the
It really
pudding.
is.
You know, you're gonna get more opportunities that way. So even if
Yeah,
you don't
I
kill
do.
as many times, you're still gonna have more opportunities. So
If I call and I don't hear a bird, I'm gone. I'm going.
Yeah.
But I'm lucky enough. I have, in Ohio, there's a bunch of public around, and I have a few small pieces of private. And in West Virginia, I got some big chunks of private I can hunt. So I'm lucky to be able to do that. That run and gun style, as people would say. And I'm lucky to do that. But sometimes I think it does more harm than good. Sometimes.
Oh, for
I don't know.
sure. I mean, in the hills, though, like
Yeah.
you said, without a decoy, I mean, that's how you have to hunt if you're going to be,
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
going to be up in the boonies there.
yeah, especially when you're that mobile, you got to be light. You know,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can't be carrying a lot of that stuff around. I mean, I did
Yeah.
it last year. I carried most of it around, and half the time, if not more, never even put the decoys out.
Yeah.
End up ditching them in a bush somewhere, and then setting up on
Yeah.
a tree or something. You know,
Yeah.
tough.
Most of the time, I don't even have time.
right,
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
yes.
you strike them up, and they're maybe 100 yards, and they're closing
Yeah.
right now. You don't have time to mess with a decoy and get it out there.
I brought hell. I track up a bird and I think he's 100. I'm like, oh, I can get 20 more. I can get. I'm one. I'm one of them, dude. Like,
Yeah,
I think so many things can happen. I've had barbed wire fences get in my way, or creeks, or just I don't know anything. And I'm like, if he can't see me and I can get a little bit closer. I can get a little bit
Yeah.
closer.
you want to burst that bubble.
I mean,
Right.
that's what
Yeah.
makes turkey hunting so
Yep.
exciting to me, too, though.
Yeah.
Like, how close can I get to this stupid thing
Right.
that's
Oh,
been
I
outsmarting me
tried.
for the last month?
I try as hard as I can to get as close as I can.
Now, Matt, you probably use a lot of terrain to your advantage as well. I mean, in that kind of part of the country, I mean, there's a lot of hills, there's a lot of hidden areas where you can, like you mentioned your story in PA, where you got up the ridge and you got on the same level as the turkey. I mean, obviously, that's always key. Getting on the same
Oh
level,
yeah.
really increases your odds. But
Mm.
I would imagine terrain it plays a big role in how you can get close to birds without overdoing it. But in the same sense, might screw you sometimes too. I'm sure.
Oh, it can. Um, the lease we have in West Virginia that we've had it since I was a kid. That's where I killed my first turkey. My first deer. I've grown up hunting that. And luckily, we can get to it from the top. Well, the top, that ridge runs. You can ride the top of that. We got a road on top of that the whole way from end to end. And so getting the birds out there on that one side of our property is nice because you're already on top, and you don't have to mess with walking from the bottom to the top and spooking birds. I mean, it makes it nice in that aspect, and you get that a lot around here. If you can get up top, whether you're on public or private, if you can get up top and get above these birds, and I mean, it makes it nice.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And then, I mean, sometimes what I mean by like getting screwed, sometimes you'll be up top and then they just play that game where they don't crest the hill. They just play it around and they'll start
Oh,
gobbling and they'll hit that crest and then
dude,
they'll play it the whole way around you and never pop up, or they'll go quiet and you're at one
yep.
part and then they pop up to your right at 50 yards and peg you.
There's a point out here on this piece of public that I hunt. And I've killed a couple, I don't know, 3 or 4 birds out there around the area. But that point, it comes to it goes out and that point goes straight down. And man, there's been a couple times that I've had birds on that point. I can see them on the roost, 60, 70 yards. They fly down, they shut up, and I'm sitting there. One time I was sitting there on my phone, and a freaking real redhead popped up 40 yards away. One time I had a bird pop up, over that point, and I was sitting in a terrible spot and had a tree in front of me and couldn't shift my gun. And a couple years ago, I was on that point, and it was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I called, and the bird was down at the bottom of the hill, and he gobbled, and I sat there just scrolling through Facebook, calling every once in a while. Well, next thing you know, that bird started getting closer. Well, next thing you know, that bird's like a flat below me. Well, I got set up. Well, on that flat, off to the right of that point, it kind of, you ever see them where it kind of rolls out and then it flattens out, then it drops off.
Right.
Well, if you're sitting back up against the hill, you can't see that roll. Well, it's like that turkey knew that, and he wouldn't come up over that. Man, I was calling, got silent on him, scratching on him and everything. Yeah, that bird, he knew. He knew. He played the game a few times. He knew that roll was there, and I couldn't see him. Well, he also didn't know I could take my vest off, and I had a youth model 20 gauge. I took my vest off, and I called, and that bird had gobbled. He was walking back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And from point to me, he'd get right in front of me, then walk back out to the point, gobble. And I called, he'd gobbled. He was out in that point, took my vest off, and I started walking. And I was moving, I was hunched over and I moved sticks and leaves every step. Every step, I was moving sticks and leaves and sticks and leaves. And I was walking, walking, walking. I got to the edge of that flat, and I called, and he was still on that point, just on the other side of the point. So I hurried up and stood up, and here he come around that point, freaking bebopping around. I slammed him about 15 yards.
Oh man, that is great. You just reminded me of a good story of my own. I was chasing this bird on a buddy's property. I've never been there before, but it's basically a big giant hilltop and
Yeah,
flat on the top, and then obviously falls off. A perfect circle, basically, if you
yeah.
can imagine. And
Hmm.
this bird roosted down below us. There had to have been 2 birds. I mean, they gobbled 400 times before
Yeah.
they roosted down. I mean, If motorcycle went by, you could hear, and they would gobble 15 times just to the motorcycle roar, like back to back. And the birds finally come down, they start going off, and I chased those damn things around that entire hillside. They never come up, and it was like same thing, that hillside where it dropped down, and it would kind of step off just gradually, then it would fall off just enough to where you could probably only see 30 yards at a time before it fell off to that next step. So I'm chasing them the whole way around this damn hillside. Finally get this bird to fire up again, and I'm crawling on all fours towards it. My buddy's back behind me. I texted his dad and told him to start calling. He started calling back behind me, and this bird it would never shut up. So I'm crawling on all fours, and where I fucked up was I went to get in front of this tree. I went to crawl around this tree and get in front of it where I could just see over that hillside. And had I just set up on the back side of it and just like set up my gun and rested on it, that bird, sure enough, that's when he picked his moment to come up that here. And what I think happened was he heard me crawling.
He heard you.
Yeah,
he thought
he thought it was a turkey.
Yeah.
And sure as shit, I was moving, two moves, move the gun forward kind of thing, And as I was moving the gun forward to get in front of that last tree, sure as shit, that biggest turkey head I've ever seen, that bastard just showed up right over the hill, looked right at me, and ducked right back down under the hill. I jumped up, went to go shoot him, and there was a log. He went right behind the log, and I never saw him again. Mm-hmm. I was so bummed, man. But what a hunt, though. I love it when you have those hills and they play that game and you get it really going, like you kill them. Dude, there's nothing more rewarding than that.
Oh, when you're cutting them off, running through the woods like freaking Davy Crockett across the hill to cut them off. Dude, that's the stuff that gets me going right there, man.
Yeah. Turkey hunting's fun, man. I mean, I love talking about deer hunting, and I love deer hunting, but once I got into turkey hunting, man, deer hunting almost plays second fiddle.
It's a whole nother beast, man.
It's funny when you take somebody out that's never gone turkey hunting before and you hear them walking, like how you were talking about moving sticks and stuff like that. Like, you can tell the people that have never, been trying to creep up on a bird before. And it's not that they're, not trying to walk quietly, but it's like a different kind of walk in the woods,
Yeah. Well, I mean, the same thing with the guy that pulled up his vehicle at the bottom of the hill with Matt and started calling at the birds.
Exactly. You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
There's just a lot of people out there that if you don't do it long enough and you don't experience and make your own screw ups, you're gonna do it. I mean, it's gonna happen. Yeah. I don't care how good of a turkey hunting you are. If you haven't screwed up, I mean, you're just not in the woods enough, in my opinion.
No, you're absolutely right there. I will agree with that 10,000%.
And that's part of the fun. That's why I like it. I think a little bit more than deer hunting. If I screw up an opportunity on a deer, man, I get really pissed off. Like, no doubt, really pissed off. It bothers me for a while. Screw up on a turkey, it's like, it pisses me off, but I'm just going to go get another gobbling bird somewhere.
Yeah. With the deer hunting, I feel like it's more preparation and then that execution, whereas turkey hunting is like you actually got to know what the fuck you're doing when you're in the woods.
Plus number of opportunities.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get the opportunities typically in a season unless you're Matt with as many birds as you do bucks.
Yeah, right.
Nah. Yeah.
I got as many birds as I did bucks. 0.
I'm just lucky to have the land to hunt on and time to do it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you've put your time in.
Yeah, you can't ask for much more.
You've had some really good years, and I mean, past 2-3 years you've been.
The last 2 years have been good. I didn't kill a buck for like 4 years, and then these last couple of years. But I'm gonna tell you what. There was a lot of bucks in 4 years that I probably should have killed and I didn't.
Yeah.
And I let the size, and I mean, it really got to me. And my dad had to sit me down and tell me to enjoy it again. And because it really did. My first year out of the Army in 2013, I killed a nice 100 and I'm looking at him right now. Hell, he's 130 some inch 8. Right at that 130-inch mark, and he was running with a 10 that was 20 inches wide and had 11-inch brow tines. I mean, for West Virginia, just especially out in our area, they were hammers.
Oh, 130-inch deer in West Virginia is a big ass deer down there. I mean, around here it's a big deer too, but down there for sure.
Yeah, that 10 ended up getting killed by the neighbor. and I hunted. I killed. Missed him first day of bow season, and I hunted that deer. And at the time, I work oil and gas. I was working 14 on, 14 off. I'd
Oh,
work
jeez.
14 12s and then 14 days off. Well, then 14 days off, I was hunting because at the time I was living with my grandparents. I didn't have, my grandma, my grandma made my food. She did my laundry and everything. I was 23 years old, and the only thing I did was work, and I hunted and I fished, and that was it.
Living your best life.
I was for a little bit. I did. I
Hell
enjoyed
yeah,
it.
man.
I lived it up, and I hunted that deer every day that I was off. If I was on midnights, I hunted that deer when I could, and I finally killed him. And that was the biggest deer I ever killed. And after that, I kind of let the size thing get to me, and I let a lot of deer walk, and it really got to the point to where I was really starting to not enjoy deer hunting as much. Like I'd go hunt a couple days and I'd be like, oh, you start, oh, I'm done, or you're just not seeing big bucks. And I let that get to me, and I'm gonna tell you what, it'll ruin a man
It
quick.
absolutely will, and that's something that when we had the blog before, something I wrote about is I kind of got out of the game for those 3 or 4 years, and then when me and Jeff, kind of our other member of the crew, kind of got into it, I took him hunting, and he shot an absolute chonger on the last day of rifle, and that like got me real jacked up,
Hmm.
like real jacked up, and then that's when things kind of started picking up for me again with deer hunting.
Yeah, I think I had to take a step back, man, and really,
Yep, that's
really,
exactly what it was.
I think that's where I'm at now, though, too. I mean, I've gone 2 years now without filling a buck tag. I was on a little roll there. I killed like 4 bucks in 3 years, and I was, for me, I was on a roll. I was killing really nice deer, killed my
Oh
biggest
yeah.
buck ever, and then I started playing the inch game and started looking at bucks. And the worst part about that is smaller deer that would come in wouldn't excite me as much.
yeah,
And if they didn't get me fired up, I wasn't shooting them.
Yeah.
yep,
You know, even the one I shot, 3 years, the last buck I shot with my bow was a half rack, but super cool deer. I mean, he had like 6 points on one side. He was super character, and it was the best hunt of my life. It was far from my best deer, but it was the best hunt of my life. And I killed that deer, and I was so fired up and so jacked up. And then, the next 2 years, I didn't really see a deer that did that to me. So I didn't shoot
yeah.
it. So I didn't shoot a buck. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is for me next year. To be honest, I don't want to shoot something that isn't going to get me excited, but I think I also need to maybe adjust my standards a little bit because I love killing deer. I mean, let's face it, I
Yeah.
enjoy it a lot,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I don't want to like play that game. But man, I think something mentally, I kind of screwed myself a little bit. You know?
I can't speak
Uh,
for everybody, but I know me and you. I mean, we were the only ones that didn't shoot something this year, and everybody got a giant this year.
Buckwise, yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
did, except for us. And I mean, dude, I was down on myself for a minute there about all that.
Yeah. But I mean, you shouldn't be that way,
No, but I
and
mean, I
I
passed a
get
lot of
it.
bucks this year too that were legal. Were
Yeah.
they big? But no. But you know what I mean? It's the same thing you were saying. It's just like,
Yeah.
your brother shot a friggin', a potential booner. Like,
It was
that was
good.
a big deer.
Oh yeah, yeah, real good deer, and and that didn't really do it, but it did put a little pressure on me too to try to kill something nice because we were in that damn competition, which I'll never
absolutely.
do again. I'll never do that again. I did not like that mindset in hunting season to have a little bit extra pressure when I'm already so scatterbrained and just stupid on myself to put extra pressure on myself with a stupid ass tournament. I'll never do it again. But Matt, I mean, you kind of did, like you said, you kind of went through the same thing. So what were some of the words of advice like your father gave you that kind of
Well,
set you back on the path?
you know, my uncle. I'm talking about my uncle. He's killed some giant deer, big deer, and he was killing deer, big deer back before it was cool.
Yeah.
He was out videotaping deer before trail cameras really got big, and I killed that one, and I was like, I want to be like my uncle. I'm 23, 24 years old, and I want to kill big deer. Don't get me wrong, I still do want to kill big deer, but
I mean, who
my
doesn't?
dad,
Right.
yeah, my dad, he's like, man, he said, you just need to have fun again, because I love to hunt. I've always loved to hunt. He just watched it, kind of just try really start sucking the life out of me. Like I put so much time into it. I feed these deer all year long. I run trail cameras all year long, and it was, it's one of the things like, if there ain't no big bucks there, then they're just, they ain't there. Be happy with what you have. This and that and this and that, and and there's nothing wrong with not killing a buck every year. You know what I mean? And just him talking to me and just this and that, and I just just enjoy it. Like I tell people, you're not going to see the same buck that I see. If you want to shoot it, or if I want to shoot it, shoot it. If it makes you happy, shoot it.
Hell yeah.
Just because I wouldn't shoot it, don't mean you can't shoot it. You know what I mean? But and I'm lucky to hunt in West Virginia, Ohio. And one thing I had to learn is where I hunt in West Virginia, I don't have the same caliber bucks over there that I have in Ohio.
Yeah.
Like this year, I shot maybe 105-inch 9-point with my rifle in West Virginia. And, dude, when that deer stepped out, my heart was beating so damn fast. I don't even remember pulling the gun up and shooting him. My dad texted me, and I was looking for blood right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if that deer would have stepped out, in gun season over here before I shot that 8-point I killed, I would have never even blinked an eye at him.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned I have, and some people are like, oh, you shouldn't be that way. You shoot them bucks like that, they ain't gonna get no bigger next year. Blah 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 blah. Well, yeah, probably not. But my standards I've learned to have different standards. We don't have them the bigger bucks. You can have them, but where I hunt, dude, if it's an 8-point, that deer walks over to the neighbors and he's gonna get killed.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean?
That's the
But
same
I'm also
with the
not
Amish
saying,
up here and everything else.
Yeah, I'm also not saying like, oh, I'm going to kill him because the neighbor's going to kill him. No,
Right.
hell, I hadn't killed a buck over there in like 4 years. And that was the biggest buck I'd seen over there in 4 years. When he stepped out, man, I trust him. I was tickled shit with him.
and that's the key. I mean, you can say whatever you want. If you're sitting in Illinois or Iowa and you're talking to a guy that just killed a buck in West Virginia and you're telling them what they should do with their tag,
Just shut
you
the
know,
fuck up.
you can just go piss off because you have no clue what it's like over here. I mean, I've never ever in my life said, "Oh, I'll give that deer another year and I'll go kill him next year," because realistically, that doesn't happen very often.
No, those dudes in Illinois and all that, they're shooting free range cattle as far as I'm concerned. I mean, am I jealous? Fuck yeah, I am.
Sure.
But, 109-inch deer in West Virginia, that's not a bad deer. That's a pretty damn good deer down there,
Yeah, it's harder to do that than it is what they do over there. And I get it. Yeah, I do get it. You can absolutely be part of, deer management, and you can try to let deer age and do your part. And like you said, it's not the mindset that the neighbor's going to shoot the deer. It's a simple fact that is a reality on where we live, that a lot of people hunt the same area and really close to. And a lot of these bucks that travel so far, they get killed.
Yeah.
I mean, we have rifle seasons. These deer get killed.
Oh, yeah.
It's tough. It's not the same thing. You find a deer that makes you happy in your area, and I agree. If it's a 100-inch buck, if it's an 80-inch buck, you're killing a damn thing, and it's going to make you ecstatic, and I don't give a shit what anybody else says or thinks.
And it's going to taste delicious.
Right.
That's right.
It's going to taste delicious.
That's right.
That's what Grandpa used to always say. Can't eat the horns, baby.
That's it.
But in Illinois, I still want to kill big bucks.
Yeah.
Right?
Who doesn't? I mean, that's a fact.
Yeah, that's why you put the time in, the money in, and
Oh, yeah.
and that's why you do it.
Yeah. But big woods, like what you're hunting and what we hunt up north, shit's tough, man.
Yeah, people don't realize that.
I had pictures this year below my house of, I think I sent them to you.
You did.
The one was 177 inches. He got killed. The neighbor killed him. I mean, and I had pictures of that deer all summer. Thousands of pictures of that deer. He got killed, I don't know, half a mile from here. I had a picture of an 8 that was just, an absolute stud. Not huge, wouldn't score well. Old mature deer, at least, 5.5, if you want to put age on it, whatever. And,
3 days before bow season, he disappeared. Well, come to find out, hell, he was about 1.5 miles from here. Guys were getting pictures of him over there. I mean, the deer travel, and but I get caught up in it. Getting them pictures, like I'm going to kill that deer. I'm going to kill that deer. I don't want to say that's my deer. You want to say it because you're getting pictures of it, but
so are
that
they.
it ain't your deer. I mean, I get caught up in it. I mean, I think everybody does, especially when you're getting the amount of pictures that you do.
Oh, that gets you jacked up, dude, when you see some doe on the camera.
It was every night. Every night.
Texting everybody, Snapchat.
I just showed Booer a couple of the ones that you sent me. And
dude, there was 4 below my house that was, go over, 130 inches, and then
freak nasties.
And them deer travel. The buck I killed last year in Ohio, I'd hunted that deer for 4 or 5 years. I hit him 1 year, didn't find him. Well, like the 3rd year of me hunting that deer, he started showing up at my uncle's place, like over 1 mile away. He'd be there in the evenings. He'd be back at my dad's in the morning. Like, that deer travel. Luckily, I ended up killing him last year. I mean, I think he was 7, 8.5 years old. Ended up finally killing him. But man, they travel. You just never know.
Oh, that buck I shot last year on state game lands, we had a camera set up on a state game lands beside that state game lands, well over 1 mile. And we got the same deer on both cameras. I mean, it's crazy.
It's nuts.
They travel forever. I mean, them days, man,
I think they move more too.
Go a long way for a woman.
Yeah, you get in those big woods, and I feel like those deer even travel even farther. A lot of them. I mean, they just go. It's crazy. I know even up our camp, like Allegheny National Forest, man.
You'll see a deer and never see the same deer. You'll never see it again.
Right. You may never see it again, but then we start putting up a lot of cameras, and we got deer like one part of the property, and then 1 mile away, he's showing up on another camera. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you hunt those, and try to get those deer on a pattern? Come on, man.
You can't.
Yeah.
I hunt. My dad bought that 10-acre piece, I don't know, 5 years ago now, over here in Ohio, and I hunted it, and that's where I killed that old buck. I hunted him for 4 years. I was just lucky he stuck around. I mean, I had pictures of him every summer. I had pictures of him throughout deer season here and there. I mean, he was never there a lot, but that 10 acres, it was just you have to be there when they came in. Which obviously I'm feeding them. 10-acre piece, one side's township road, and then, there ain't a freaking acorn tree on it or nothing.
Yeah.
The only thing them deer's coming in there for is what I'm dumping on the ground.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But and I got that 15-acre piece that I bought, and you got to hunt them different than what a lot of people you see on TV or on social media that's got 500-600 acres, and they've got 27 stands and 100 trail cameras, and
they can almost pick and choose which deer they want to kill.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, you still have to kill the deer. You still have to put the work in, and
for sure. Yeah, it all takes work.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter what the size of the property, you're doing the same stuff. It's just the difference is land and how many deer you got, and 500-600 acres, you're holding them deer.
Yep.
10, 15 acres, I'm not holding nothing.
Right. Right.
I'm there when maybe some does they'll bed close because the food's there.
Yeah. And each deer, I mean, like you said, that one stuck around. He has a different personality. Another deer might travel 5 miles.
Yeah.
When they get on hot does and whatnot. But I got a taste of it a little bit when I was hunting down around Pittsburgh this year. You can only hunt. I mean, I was in, I think, a 2-acre plot of just woods behind houses, and I was hunting an absolute giant, monster, ridiculous buck. But this deer was like, he was there one day and never saw him again. Gone forever. Those little patches of woods. And that's a little different scenario because there's only so much, but the same, it shows. Like, they have ranges and they bounce around and they just go from one hot doe to the next.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, hunting Pittsburgh, you'd have to be like them Seek One boys down there in Atlanta.
I was trying,
man. Get about 100 different properties, 100 different 1-acre properties to kill it.
Yeah, well, Southern people are a little more generous and nice to approach than Pittsburgh folks.
Pittsburgh
Oh
is this
yeah.
little dark hole of
Oh, I know.
just
I know.
grumpy motherfuckers, dude. I used to live there. Trust me.
Grumpy,
It's
wealthy people that don't typically see too kindly to hunters. I mean, I got the cops called on me like 4 times just hunting that little piece. You
oh
know,
yeah,
I've had them leave notes on my truck and shit
yeah.
for me. I'm
Huh.
like, come on, man. All I want to do is hunt a deer. Like, and it's not like I was slaying everything in sight. I was hunting one deer. And when I approached the property owners, that's what I basically told them. Like, listen, I'm just here to kill one mature deer. Like, that your little Bambi that runs through your yards every day, she's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
You know, she's fine. I'm not killing that deer. And I
Yeah.
watch deer walk past me, underneath me every day. Yeah, it was fun. It's nice to
Oh
see.
yeah.
It's really cool when you can see the deer in their element and they don't know you're there.
It makes it a lot easier to see stuff. When you're out there and you're not seeing anything, you're like, dude, this is retarded. Why am I out here? What is the point of my life? Why
Yep.
did I wake up at 4 a.m.?
It can be like that in them big ones, man. I mean, that's the reality of it.
That's like that. Down them little pieces that I hunt, man. You might hunt my dad's 10 acres 10 times and only see deer like twice.
Right, right. It's tough.
Man, it makes you work, man. I mean, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's mental game too. That's not all physical grind. That's mental grind.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it is. Yeah, the deer density is just not real big over here in this airport.
Well, that's what lends to the bigger deer over there. Is there's less competition for food too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it definitely
yeah.
can help.
You get more pictures of bucks than you do does.
Yeah, that's unheard of over here.
Well, that's the same West Virginia. You'll
Yeah.
get 14 does and 1 buck.
Yeah.
You can't shoot enough does in most places over there. The hell, you'll shoot 20 of them. Next year it'll be 30. It's like, Jesus, where'd they come from?
They're like coyotes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, man.
So
That's
we're a little
all right.
over an hour here. Chuck, do you have anything kind of to wrap it up here before we see what's going on here?
Well, I did. I wanted to touch. I know we played around a little bit about your Ohio buck. I don't know if you wanted to tell the story on that deer, or if
Absolutely.
you had another story from your 2019 season or the other buck you shot this year. I mean, if you got another really good story you want to share with us, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it don't matter how either one.
Well, the Ohio one was the bigger one, correct?
That was the big boy.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, like I said, I bought that piece. Me and the wife bought that piece in March, right before COVID hit. And it's just an 80-acre piece away from my uncle's place. And then just right up the ridge from my dad's 10-acre piece. They're all on the same ridge. So I bought it, and the fields, there's a little bit of field on it. And they had been all growed up. I had a guy come in and clear that all out. Get it mowed down, and I didn't do nothing with it. I really didn't have time, and I'd walked around it a little bit, but I was getting all them pictures of the deer here below the house, so I really was like, screw it, I'm trying to kill one of the deer here below the house. I had a couple bucks over at Dad's that I would have shot, nice wide 8. He was coming in. Yeah, just at night though. But I would have, shot him. So I didn't do nothing. I didn't have a camera over there. Nothing. I just left it alone. Well, them deer here below the house disappeared, and then there wasn't much out at my dad's. And then I went out on public a couple times. I killed a nice buck on public 2016 or 17. He was like 130 some inch 10-pointer. And so I went a couple times, and one time I found a guy's corn pile on a trail camera and a guy smoking in a tree stand, and another time about the same. So I was like, I'll just wait, because now that I got the wife and the kid, if there ain't much showing up, I just stay at the house. I try to spend as much time with them, try to find that that balance.
Oh yeah.
Where the wife's not too ticked off, but it started getting closer to gun season, and
Your days
I
get
knew my
precious
dad
with
was
that.
going to be in, and I was like, man, there's just, I ain't got nothing, nothing's coming back, and nothing. So I told my Uncle Shane, I said, I'm going to dump some corn out there at that property, and
put a camera up. Well, it wasn't, man. That night, I put a cell phone camera out there. That night, some does showed up. I don't know, it wasn't 2 or 3 days went by. That freaking buck came in. And I was like, wow, that is a nice deer. I hope he sticks around. And I had a couple other bucks, nice bucks, and that were showing up. And obviously my uncle had pictures of them too. And I was off. I took vacation the week of Ohio gun season, but I finished up from work Friday, so I had Saturday, Sunday off, and then Monday, gun season. Ohio came in. Well, that Saturday, Sunday, West Virginia rifle was in. Well, I ended up killing that 9 on Sunday. I've been hunting. I wanted to hunt gun season in West Virginia. It's I don't care if it's just one day. I get off. I'm gonna hunt. If gun season's in over there, I'm hunting. And I remember Saturday morning, I'm sitting in a box blind over there, and it was cold. And I'm sitting there, and my phone goes off, and I'm scrolling through the pictures. I got 3 cell phone cameras, so I'm scrolling through them, and that freaking buck standing over at my place in Ohio, just plain as day, broadside. I'm like,
Oh man.
I even posted on Instagram. I was like, when you're gun hunting in West Virginia, it should be a bow hunting in Ohio. I was like, man. Well, so I ended up shooting that buck Sunday in West Virginia. So I was like, cool. I can concentrate all week in Ohio. And I had actually quite a few daylight pictures of that buck. And another buck, an older buck, he had real long 2s and short 3s and short brows. Boy, he was just a big bodied deer. And I was like, I see either of them bucks this week. I'll shoot him. Because Dad was going to be in. He was going to be hunting his 10-acre piece. So Sunday before I hunted Sunday morning. I left, came home, grabbed my hang-on stand and sticks. Me and my dad and my stepbrother ran over to my place, hung that stand, got everything ready, cleared all the limbs out, freaking made me a path to get into my stand so I didn't make no noise getting in there. Left, went hunting West Virginia and killed that buck. So I got him all taken care of that evening. And then Monday, I hunted, kicked off, high gun season. Well, down here, it was cold and rainy. So I sat, morning and afternoon, didn't see nothing. Well, the snow came. So Tuesday morning, I forget, 3, 4, 5 inches of snow on the ground. Well, my truck, I about got stuck in the snow. I mean, but I was boring on it to get up out of there because where my property is, right off the road, the ridge road, there's no really place to park. So I kind of come down off the road, and then to leave, I got to go up and then onto the road. Well, I about got stuck. Well, I had to have my dad drop me off that evening to hunt. So he dropped me off, and I was sitting there, and I had seen a couple of does. Well, the wind was in my face, and man, them does come out of the woods and started walking across that little field. I ended up going out and brush hogging there a few weeks before gun season. They came through that field, and the field, you can't see it from the road. It's hidden in the back. That's where I've been feeding. They'd sort of come across that field. Man, the wind switched, and I felt it hit me in the back. And sure enough, man, that big doe, she was gone. And I was like, shit. Well, I thought that buck was coming from where them does were. So they ran down over the hill, and I was like, shit, man. Well, a little bit of time goes by, and it's starting, dwindling down. Well, when I hung that stand, I freaking put the real tree stick, to hold your gun. I'd screwed that in.
Yep.
I screwed it in a terrible spot. If a deer come in, I had to stand up, turn around, and grab it and shoot. So I was like, well, I said, it's starting to get dark, so I'm going to go ahead and unscrew this and screw it in over here on my left side. So when I, stand up, it's just right here. So I get it unscrewed, and I got my gun strap across my back, and the gun's on my front, and my freaking sling's too damn tight, so it's like sucking my body together. I'm sitting there, and it's snowing. I mean, snowing to beat hell. I got that thing unscrewed, and I'm screwing it back in, and
you know how them things are, just awful to screw in to start.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got it about halfway in, and freaking here come a deer across the field. And I said, "Oh shit!" So here I am, freaking hand up on this thing, screwing it in, guns, strapped to my front, and she's just looking at me, and I'm like, "Oh god." So I'm like, "Screw it," because here comes like 3 more deer, and I'm like, "Oh man." So I freaking ripped that gun off my back, and I'm scoping them, and I can tell if they were bucks, they weren't big. And doe, doe, doe. Well, they took off. Well, here come 4 more deer, and I'm like, doe, 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 doe. Well, they come out in the middle of the field and they stopped, and I'm looking at them. Well, they look like towards me, but where I'm looking out in front, the field's out in front of me, and then to the right of me, the field goes out, and then it goes out to the road. Well, they're looking down in there. Well, then them deer take off running. Well, I just peeked around around the tree there, and there that damn buck stood.
Oh, jeez.
40 yards.
Oh my!
That deer had come from behind me by the road and walked the field wood line out, and then he was coming out in front of me. Well, it was great because I screwed that freaking arm in. I just rested that gun across that arm and shot him. So I shoot that deer, and he runs out, and then where I'd made that path, I made it real wide so I could walk down in there. He runs straight down that path and dies 5 foot from a tree. I couldn't freaking believe it.
That's great.
Don't get no better than that.
It was a hell of a night because I called my dad, told him. He said, "All right, I'll be there in a minute." It's a good thing he dropped me off because if I would have parked there, that deer would have never came in.
Right, he was on you. Yep, seen your truck and just probably turned
around.
around.
Yeah, my dad ended up locking his keys in his truck, and
Jesus.
man had to go get him, and then he got forward to get me, and man, it dumped the freaking snow down. And then at like 1 o'clock in the morning, tow people came and unlocked his truck. I was like, man, what a hell of a night for this deer.
Oh, man. That is a hell of a story, though.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. What were you using? Were you using a shotgun or a straight wall cartridge?
Yeah, I just used a Savage 220, 20 gauge.
Okay. Was it a rifle barrel on it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that thing, man, them things shoot. Them 20 gauge, they shoot.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people have gone to the 450s and the 350s and, the 4570s and all that. But my grandpa bought me that Savage 220 there, probably 2014. And I've killed a few deer with hell. It kills them just as dead as everything else, though.
Well, that bolt action Mossberg 12 gauge I put down quite a few deer with that thing. I mean, shooting 100 yards ain't nothing for even that big 12 gauge.
Oh, yeah.
Those 20s I could imagine go even further. But not that you couldn't shoot over 100 with that 12, but
They shoot great, man. I mean, and it puts them down. I mean, it's got a hell of a piece of lead. And that piece of lead right here, I ended up finding it was so close that they didn't even go all the way through it.
That's wild. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's great wrap up to your season then, man. Holy shit, like.
Yeah, it was something. I mean, I killed a pile of does this year too.
Yeah. So you got plenty of fresh turkey and venison in your freezer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I like to keep it full.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the spring.
You never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the spring, hoping to get a little bit more turkey meat in my freezer. I went through that pretty quick, man.
It's easy
that
to
wild
do,
turkey's just good. That's good eating.
You gotta grill it, baby.
Yeah.
Grill it.
Yeah, we grilled it up, did tacos with it a couple times. I mean, holy shit, you're talking good, fresh meat.
Yeah. Can't beat it.
Hell yeah.
Can't beat it.
Well, Matt, hey, man, we really appreciate you coming on, buddy. Like, I wish we would have got more maybe into the tactics stuff, but I feel like you covered it pretty well, even in your stories. I think there's plenty of people can grab from what you did and how you were successful. I mean, you've killed a pile of animals over the last 2 years. It's just been unreal, and a lot of it goes into the hard work. Like you said, you do have some opportunity, but at the same time, man, you're doing something right, at the end of the day.
Yeah, the one thing I can say that the small properties that I have to hunt, I leave them alone. I feed on them.
now cell cameras nowadays, it makes it easier. You don't have to check your cameras all the time. But
Yeah.
if you got them small pieces, you don't, like, I really don't shed hunt. I don't turkey hunt. I don't do much of anything. I feed, I got my cameras, feeding the deer, and then I'm in and out, and that's it.
Yeah.
You mess up in little pieces like that, and you mess them up in September, and they're still jacked up, months down the road. It's you just got to, be careful with them small ones. A little bit easier when you got bigger parcels, few hundred acres. You bump him from here, he's just going into the property.
Oh yeah.
Right. Well, we're going to have to make a trip down there, I think, and maybe do some turkey hunting with you down in West Virginia.
Absolutely. I think this was a good episode to kind of get it primed up for the spring, because I'm already jacked up for turkey. As soon as middle of January, I'm ready to go.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
Oh, yeah. It's
Quickly.
about time to get scouting here.
Yeah. Not too long now. I've been seeing a whole bunch out, too. I mean, they're still on kind of their winter pattern, but...
Oh, yeah, they will be for a little while, yeah.
Holy shit, I've been seeing a lot of turkey. Some big bearded turkey, too, on a couple of my properties. They're hitting trail cameras, and my cell cameras are going off, and there's just, like, these two toms walking through, just doing a titty shake,
Yeah.
So, Matt, where can everybody find you out on the social medias here?
Just Matt Talkington on Facebook, and same for Instagram. Just MattTalkington.
Just how it sounds.
Oh,
Yeah. That's, everybody's like, man, that's how do you spell that? And you spell it for them, like, oh, just how it sounds.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
Well, man, we appreciate you coming on. This is either going to be episode 3 or 4, depending on what one gets taken care of first here. But as always, like, subscribe, thumbs up, go follow Matt, give him a shout out. I wouldn't say that I sent him, but it is what it is. So, my dude, stay the course. Thank you as always.